Thank you, Chairman. Thank you to my colleague from Santa Monica. I actually want to follow up on a question he raised in respect to prevention. And earlier I mentioned the legislation I've worked on regarding continuous glucose monitors. And, you know, for 3 years running, I introduced that legislation. And for 3 years running, Department of Finance sent a letter of opposition. And given that we know CGMs reduce diabetes-related hospitalization by as much as 75%, and given that during the surge and COVID-19, we've seen diabetes-related hospitalizations account for as much as 30% of the problem, is it fair to say the Department of Finance was short-sighted in its opposition to my legislation?
Assemblymember Gray, I'll turn it over to my colleague, Adam Dorsey.
This is Adam Dorsey, Department of Finance. So, I think the way that I would look at this issue is that this is something that we have evaluated for a couple of years now, and it's part of the overall context of all the resource decisions that are made. And so, while we agree there is, a place for continuous glucose monitors and a benefit to patients, there's also a cost associated with it, and it has to be prioritized within the context of all the budget decisions that we're making. And so I think that's just sort of the lens and the approach that we have to take with not only that, but with all augmentations. And so, when you expand benefits, there is a cost, there's also a benefit. And so having to constantly weigh these with all of the other, potential expansions, that's something that we have to do.
I'll go ahead and put that down as a yes and double down on my, support for my colleague's point, which is prevention is expensive on the front end, but it's important. And we're seeing the very real world consequences of that activity right now. I also want to just real quickly touch on some answers you provided for my colleague from Santa Barbara in respect to federal money.